past. We'll be loose from oppressions at last. How united we ever will stand, for the welfare of all in this land. Hail hooray to our island, St. Andrew, Old Providence and Little St. Catherine. Soon your children will gain to each attainment, every merit whichever receive. No more strangers will rule in our home, no injustice to cause us to roam. We have the help of the Almighty above, who shall lead us along in His love. Hail hooray to our island, St. Andrew, Old Providence and Little St. Catherine. Soon your children will gain to each attainment, every merit whichever receive. No more evil on us shall befall. Soon there'll be peace and justice for all. We're together as one in God's might. To gain freedom we'll win every fight. Hail hooray to our island, St. Andrew, Old Providence and Little St. Catherine. Soon your children will gain to each attainment, every merit whichever receive.
Good morning. Good morning again to this next emission of our program, The Voice of the Raizal Nation. We're here broadcasting from the island of San Andres and the archipelago of San Andres, Old Providence, and Catalina. This is a program brought to you by the Raizal Council, the Raizal Authority, along with the Raizal Development Center and the Raizal Diaspora. We're happy to be back here this morning again in this series of program for the month of August and September around the issue of the municipalities, Raizal municipalities in the island of San Andres. We are completing 7 programs in this line in a bigger framework that we call local democratic governance. Local democratic governance, seeking for a more responsible and legitimate democratic governance here in the archipelago of San Andres and Providence. We want to make a look who a compilation of what we've done in the past programs. Before we come in with our guests, we have 2 guests this morning. Dr. Ken Francis James and Dr. Alberto Escobar Alcala. These are 2 very key, important leaders of the Raizal people that have a lot to do with this topic that we're talking about. Those municipalities that are ordered in the Article 310 of the 1991 Colombian Constitution. We will have in the following weeks many more speakers, leaders that have to do in that historical moment of the National Constituency in 1991 when they was building that new constitution in Colombia. I welcome Dr. Edgardo Martin as our next host. Dr. Edgardo, Pastor Edgardo, good morning.
Good morning, Brother Jairo. Good morning, Dr. Kent and Pilito, two of my heroes. And welcome to another edition of the Voice of the Raizal Nation.
Very good.
Glad to be here.
Thank you. Edgardo is there connected from United States of America, Alcala there next to Mexico, El Paso, Texas. Right?
Yes.
Is the president as well of the Raizal diaspora. And we work team to team with the Raizal Development Center, the Raizal Authority, supporting our struggle as a people here in the archipelago. Before we bring in our guests, as Edgardo are those contextualizing our audience. Today we in this program, we giving the possibility that those that are seeing us want to participate through social media. As well, they usually send comments and questions through the social media like YouTube, Facebook, and so forth. We're giving them the possibility to be able to come in the studio with us and make a short comment and a short question, and interact with the guests that we have and make the program more richly. Okay, so we have that link to connect into the studio. We have it on our YouTube channel. Okay, so you from there you can connect with us and be part of this program. We're coming in right now soon with the guest them as we want to start contextualize. As I don't know if you want to wish bless this program before we.
Sure. Let us pray. We thank you, Heavenly Father, for the gift of blessing us with such beautiful islands. We want to thank you for blessing us with amazing people, with an amazing history and an amazing faith that you have given us. As we begin this conversation, we pray, Lord, that you will grant us wisdom, grant us humility and understanding. Help us to honor those who came before us and guide us as we seek what is best for the future of the Raizal people of San Andres, Providence, and Ketlina. And this morning, Lord, we pray a special blessings upon our islands. Protect our land, oh God, as only you can do. Our sea, our culture, our families, our youth, our children. And we pray this morning, Lord, that this discussion be guided this morning by your truth, by respect, and a shared commitment to justice for our people, to good governance and the well-being of the future generations. So we place this program and our people in your hands. Brother Jairo, our guest this morning, Dr. Kent Francis, Dr. Pilito Escobar. We pray our blessings upon them and their families and upon all those who are listening to us this morning. We thank you, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Great. Thank you, Pastor. Yes, so we want to explain how we want to run this program this morning, right, Pastor? We want to have 3 moments with our guests as we cover this topic about the Raizal municipalities. Talking about the Raizal municipality, they want to carry us back to talk about what the article of the Constitution, the Article 310 that call for that. Okay, so what we intend this morning by one part is to get to our people, especially this new generation, including ourselves, to get clear what the memories from that moment for us as a people that continue the struggle, to hear from our leaders what was the situation at that moment that carried them there to participate in building the new constitution of Colombia, and what they went with, understand how that went on, the circumstances and so forth. Secondly, apart from that memory, that historical view, is to understand clearly the history, the purpose, or what you all as attorneys, the lawyers call the spirit behind the Article 310 in the Constitution. That's the second issue that we want to touch after we look on the historical part, understand the real purpose. And third and finally, we want to, with our guests, to see what is the current, the actual situation after 35 years, right?
Yep.
Yes, 35 years passed from 1991. We are now in 2026. After 35 years, how we see that our situation and the possibilities or the feasibility in different aspects, legal, financial, etc., feasibility to implement that fear of the Raizal municipalities, those things that are there in the 310, the Article 310. That's basically what we want to cover this morning, and have a final space to the last for the people or audience to call and interact with the guests and with us. So I want to bring in first our first guest, Dr. Kent Francis. And just want to make a short announcement here of him as we
Local Democratic Governance, TPC, RDC streaming program.
Today, we would like to introduce you to a person's story is deeply connected to our islands and to the defense of our identity. Can you imagine being the last intrudent at the same time today? We are joined by a man who has carried the voice of our islands to national, international, Francis James, a lawyer, rhythmer, and strong advocate for our territory and our culture. Welcome, Kent Francis James.
fine. So here we make a announcement to Dr. Ken. Dr. Ken, good morning. We are so pleased and honored to have you here with us.
Yeah, good morning, Jairo. Good morning, Pastor Edgardo. I'm so pleased and happy to be here. This opportunity that we can share thoughts about what to become our life and our future. Yes.
Great.
Good morning, Dr. Kent Francis. I think I always tell you that you are one of my heroes. Jairo, remember when I was in 6th batch Europe, Bolivariano, Dr. Kent came to talk to us. You know, we were finishing and just come to give us some inspiring words. And I already knew I wanted to be an attorney, but his speaking there that morning just inspired me even more to become an attorney. And I always have a high appreciation for you, Doc. So glad to see you and that you can join us here this morning.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes. This is an honor. Dr. Kent, yes, we like to have that understanding. We came after you, and the great work that you and others, Dr. Pilito and many others, Fidel, Juvencio Gallardo, Julio Gallardo, etc., did. I recognize that we haven't really interiorized it, and understand the context. So there we fail to give the projection to the world. And the young generation, those coming after us and those actually we are in the same situation, we need to understand and we need to, and because we think was a great success, but if we don't, we'll end up inventing and reinventing over many things that is there more to, to seek to implement it. And now by so much time had passed, we're talking about from 1991 to today, 35 years. We also need to bring it to the current situation. Things change. All of us recognize that fact that and see how if it's still relevant today and it's still how we should proceed. So we say we have the program divided in three moments. One is the historical part where you all to share with us how you all went into that process of the Assembly Constituent. That is very important for me. That's the first area we want to talk about. And so you could highlight who was part of that team, who also helped us nationally, etc. You know better than us. That's the first one. And then secondly, we will talk about the spirit, the purpose behind the Article 310. And also, not only the Article 310, we know that you all carry more things to Bogota, but not everything was accepted, So we could mention additionally to the Article 310, the spirit of the Article 310, the spirit and the purpose of those other proposals that is going through. And third and finally, the last part is to see the relevancy today of that accomplishment in the Article 310 haven't been implemented fully yet, and its feasibility. So those are the three moments. So we give way to you. We are having some technical problem with Dr. Pilito, Dr. Alberto Escobar, while our technician, Ryan, helped solve it. We'll go advancing with you, Dr. Yes, Dr. Pasegardo.
Yeah, just to remind our people and Dr. Kent that this is a conversation. It's part of an ongoing project that we started. We call it Memory, Legacy, and Spirit of Article 310 of the Constitution of 1991 toward a responsible and legitimate local democratic governance. And so in those three spaces that Brother Jairo mentioned, what we were thinking also is that for this first block, to understand where we are today, I think it's important for us to first understand where we came from. Article 310 did not emerge by accident. It was the result of years of reflection, I'm sure, of concern and advocacy by Raizal leaders who believe that the archipelago faced unique challenges that required constitutional recognition. And so in this first segment, we really want to revisit that moment in history and better understand the circumstances that gave birth to Article 310. And so I would just start out with a first question, more specific, asking you to take us back, as Jairo was saying, to the years leading up to the National Constituent Assembly. What was happening in the archipelago socially, culturally, politically, and demographically? I get, that convinced our leaders and those who help us that constitutional protection were necessary.
Yeah, we're having a technical issue with Dr. Kent, the connection.
Oh, wow.
Above is the same technical problem we saw in here with Dr. Alberto Escobar. So let's say more technician is working to solve the problem there with them.
So Kent never gone there?
Yeah, Kent is here.
Okay.
But, and he was connected fine.
Yeah, I saw him.
for some reason he dropped there. He's there beside here in the auditorium. Yeah, let's see while
Oh,
he's
wow.
yeah. Yeah, while they come on,
Sorry about
Pastor,
that.
you know,
Yeah,
he coming on right now. We're in Salah problem right now.
yeah.
Yeah, while he coming
Well,
on, this is what we're talking about here.
yes.
Um, what we intend today, those 3 moments, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
We it's 3 weeks now, Hiram. Not you. We have for the last
yeah, going
three
back, no,
weeks.
nearly
We
2 months, yeah.
Yeah, we have been examining this is one of the most important public policy and constitutional questions that we have, like how can we achieve a system of governance that genuinely protects the Raizal people, our territory, our culture, and our future. Because according to Article 310, is the creation of municipalities, isn't it? And many discussions today focus on the possible creation. I think right now in the assembly, this proposal is being studied there of municipalities. I don't know if it's in Narten, Hill, San Luis. And so we have been thinking, Brother Jairo, and sharing in the past weeks that before debating, like what should happen next, and so on, we believe it is essential to understand why the Constitution of 1991 included this possibility in the first place. Because I don't think those young assemblyers know that or understand it. I don't want to underestimate them, but it's important for them to have it clear what led us to that and what is the spirit, the true spirit. That is not just political or administrative to have more municipios or anything like that, but what is the real spirit behind Article 310? What vision the framers of the Constitution and the leaders, like Professor Juvencio that you mentioned, and Professor Bali, Enrique Puzzi, I think Professor Bill, and many others. What they have for future generations.
Okay, we have back Dr. Kent with us now. Had a little problem there technically, but yes, we're back. Yes, so
I don't know. Did he hear me, Hiram? My question? Did he heard?
probably not. I don't know. I don't. So, you can
I
repeat.
just want to go back again. Then Dr. Ken, this is a continuation of several weeks of ongoing project that we have, that we entitle Memory, Legacy, and Spirit of Article 310 of the Constitution of 1991 toward a responsible and legitimate local democratic governance. And so we think that to understand where we are today, we must first understand where we came from. That's one of Marcus Garvey's famous statements. Article 310 did not emerge by accident. It was the result of years of reflection, concern, and advocacy by many leaders, especially our Oregon, Juvencio Gallardo, and others, who believed that the archipelago faced unique challenges that required constitutional recognition. So in this first segment, we want to revisit that moment in history. I think you were the intendant at the time, if I'm not mistaken, and better understand the circumstances that gave birth to Article 310. So my first question to you is to take us back to the years leading up to the National Constituent Assembly. What was happening, Dr. Ken, in the archipelago, socially, culturally, politically, and demographically, as I was saying, that convinced our leaders and our people that constitutional protections were necessary for us?
Yes, that's very good manner to put this on the scene and show the big picture. I would like to go back and to say that our people here on this Raizal territory had established for a very long time. I would say we have evidence of more than 350 years in which what took place, our people become a people. And when I say that, is we started a building of a nation that over the years have been recognized. What this means, it means that we are a people, a nation within a state, and we must be protected, respected, and acknowledged by the state that we are into territorially and by other states in the international panorama. And what happened in 1991 is that the Constitution gives us that basic recognition. The recognition as a people, as a tribe, as a nation that must be basically, fundamentally preserved in its cultural idea, in his structural as people in a territory, and in the protection of our environment. Under those two columns, we must develop the spirit, the real spirit of what so many people did previous to the Constitution of 1991, in which we had active participation, and more than Article 310 is behind that. A lot of work of people in a territory that they do not want it to disappear, and we need it to be protected and not only colonize and continue with neo-colonialism as it happened today. But we need to involve in this what is we call Law 21 of 1991, which is Convention 169 within the constitutional laws of Colombia. We, and you have others in the Colombian state that constitute nation to be protected in their environment and in their ID and all these cultural elements that make us unique, that make us a people. So I think it's not too late. It's not too late because even when I would consider that the state had permitted invasion to overcome us, and it can be it can be taken attention and be considered. So I would say we have to don't give up on that, because more than what we're looking at in the 310 of the Constitution and 39, what we have to look is the big panorama of a nation in a territory that is under the pressure of economical and social and whatever pressure, with people coming from abroad and displacing our people, and our people also internally is becoming somebody else because we haven't worked enough to put all our strength in preserving our nation in our Raizal territory. This is something that we got to look on seriously, and it's not to open up a violence conversation, but a reasonable conversation of how you prevent and respect a people. Because we have been recognized by the United Nations in his highest court, the Court of Justice of The Hague. So we need all this to come together, and we must find a way that we begin to preserve and don't permit for it to be displaced as how it's been happening since 1960s and whatever to come. It's time for us to re-establish as a people, and we are not to talk about outnumbering the population. No. If we are one, we are people. If we are 10, we are people. If we are 10,000, we are a people. And in that status, we must preserve our territory for us in first term. And whatever other people here, we have to find a way to bargain that we could live together, but we must prevail.
Great. Excellent. We continue around this first part of the chat. Yes, as Edgardo asks, you answer perfectly there. We understand that at the moment when there was building that new constitution, you was the intendant. At that moment, the archipelago was under the status of intendencia. No? You was intendant, and that you help organize locally a working team to discuss and carry a proposal to Bogota to be, put on the table there. Can you rehearse us briefly around that moment and names of people that, helped and work toward that?
We had a teamwork, open teamwork to the big community, Raizal and non-Raizal. At that time, I have to mention the amount of cooperation that was given by Alberto Escobar Alcala, like a general organizer of the different groups that developed meetings that we could get ideas together and agree on certain points. And Rafael Palacios, who served as a secretary of all these activities, that we could have people well organized and a memory that was kept. And so many people from here and from non-Raizal that was established here. I don't want to call names because we'll leave most of them out of it. So, but it was very open, and we had different committees, and they would sit down. But these two guys was like our coordinator. Dr. Pilito was a general coordinator, and Rafael Palacio was like the secretary of all this, and the link with the government to get the support to be very efficient, that we could move around, that we could get help from Bogota, that we could do our part home and get people moving back and forth, going to Bogota, talking to those national leaders and members of this constituyente, that they could listen to us. And finally, very little of all what we took was put into the Constitution, but many things was exposed, and as a matter of that, so many other laws came up after when Dr. Julio Gallardo was representative. He took up that memory and work at it and bring up some of it as laws. And at the same time, when the Constitution came out, we came up with what they call the Ocre Constitution, which is larger than that when you go into the sense and the spirit of the 2762, if I don't make mistake, but to control the density of population and to make a policy of how the population should be controlled. So many things, because that is one of the threats that kill everything is the overcrowded of people in a small space, and our environment is affected and contaminated, and when that happens, life is something also in danger. So I think we got to get very, very serious, because now we have evidence in these last 30 years of so many damages that is happening against our environment, and socially our people have been very, very affected. And we would say that we Raizal are becoming continental right at home, which is something that they never, in the beginning, they brought people to overcrowded us, but now, right at home, we become continental, because the mentality and the pressure, social pressure and the economical pressure and the touristical development all is set up in a manner that it really go against the real meaning of a Raizal territory for a sustainable human being environment. So these are the things that we have to go to, because what we are seeing happening to us and to everybody here is that you over-exploiting economically a territory, and the consequences is that the territory will be pretty soon in difficulties for human survival, and the contamination is what remain, and the bills to correct what is wrong go to everybody, and the earning and the profit go to a small group of people.
Yeah. Great. Dr. Kent, many of the young Raizals who are serving in public life today, including our young members of the Departmental Assembly, Dr. Kent Gana?
No, I'm here.
Easier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I didn't see you. So I was saying that many of the young Raizals who are serving, and non-Raizals who are serving in the public life today, including our young members of the Departmental Assembly, that I think are currently discussing, if I'm not mistaken, the creation of the municipalities. Many of them maybe were not yet born and not part of the process that led to Article 310, and may not fully know the history behind it. Looking back, what you think would be the most important lessons that this new generation should understand about the vision, sacrifices, and the constitutional struggle that made Article 310 possible? And why is that historical understanding essential as they make decisions today about the municipalities that could shape the future governance of our islands? What lessons? What you think is that most important lesson that they should learn today?
Basically, I would go back and say we have to learn to spell the word ID, identification, and it must be that what make us to be Raizal, and it's not to put it against anyone else. It's just that to shape up the plan of surviving, the plan of living, the plan of staying here is a must for us, and we are being displaced because of not only physically but culturally, ethnically, And we think that this shouldn't be like that because the nation we call the Raizal nation, was built almost 400 years ago. And we wish that we be for everlasting on this territory as far as the earth will prevail. But now, when we talk about municipalities, the aim of municipalities is under the searching for mechanism that cultural and ethnical elements of the people remain protected. So this municipality, the first thing we have to think of is that it's not comparable to nothing what we call municipality in other part of the country and what pre-exists. We have to be very creative to accomplish the aim. The aim of it, the spirit of it, is the preservation of the people and the preservation of the environment that is necessary for living and living in an integral way. So we have to be very, very worthy. We have to work hard enough. We have to study and consider how we can create municipalities that would work in our benefit for those principal goals, that we preserve ourselves as a ethnical people and preserve our territory in a manner that we can live in it, and the contamination and whatever go on do not condemn us in our own place.
Right.
Very good, very good. Harry, you think we should move on to the next block too, because
Yes, we could. Before we move on to the next block, one next thing in the historical part, we understand also nationally you had some support because Raizal
yes,
people as such didn't have any really recognition to be on the table now as a constituency, as a constituyente. So we understand you all rely on people that carry the vice, including some indigenous leaders, some political leaders in Colombia. If you want to just share a little bit about that, maybe give them the merits as well.
Yes, our presence in Bogota, as I could remain and say it again, so many of our people, we provided facilities that they could go and show themselves into the different circles of the Constituyente in 1991. So we gained by different influence, support by different group of people and politicians that could be or speakers, official speakers within the Constituyente. Because yes, as you said, we never had a voice, a direct voice, but we exercise our presence and pressure and show them that we also are a nation within the state of Colombia. And I think this was one of the first steps that the word the Raizal began to arise, and we begin to show that we exist and we are. And what the laws did was just recognize a fact. And we have to keep this on, because even when we are overcrowded in a small territory, which is not reasonable to be like that, we have to see how we can preserve our territory from the overcrowded of population. And because the simple presence of too many people will endanger the environment, and without environment there's no life for nobody. So these are things that we must try to enforce the laws of the Convention 169 to put in place and to make people become reasonable that this is a home that cannot take the amount of people that want to live here. So, but who are Raizal, this is our home. And we must have space for them who live in now and them to come, the future generation. Those are things that we can express without putting a fighting face. I mean, we can reason on all these matters. We can show the evidences. We can show experience of happening in other places of the world. And we can hold on strongly on the development of all many policies that within the United Nations have been issued in the preservation of people, nation within other nation like our case.
Great. Thank you, Doc. So, fine. That will be the first part of this topic around the Raizal municipalities, looking over the Article 310 of the Constitution of Colombia. And that's the memories that we are here gathering around it from the main actors that they are involved leading. Secondly, we want to analyze, I believe you already done answer part of the second part around the purpose, the spirit behind this. You mentioned over and over, making the emphasis, the demographic situation on the archipelago, especially on San Andres Island, was a pressing issue that was a threat and an obstacle to many human rights of the Raizal people, environmentally, politically. And I believe that's why that issue of overpopulation have such a protagonical role in that moment, building the Article 310 to the Constitution. I am anticipating putting words around this question that we're asking you. What was the spirit? What was the purpose behind this issue? What you all did there to get these things in the Article 310 of the Constitution. Go ahead, Doc.
Harold, make I read it. Make I read the article
Okay.
because you got plenty of landers and maybe no read it. So it's Article 310. It says the Archipelago Department of San Andres, Providence, and St. Catalina shall be governed. And it says, in addition to the rules established in the Constitution and the laws for other departments, shall be governed by special regulations. This is what we call the differential treatment, enacted by the legislature regarding administrative, immigration, fiscal, foreign trade, exchange, financial and economic development matters. And it says, through a law approved by a majority of the members of each chamber, it shall be possible to limit the exercise of rights of movement and residence, establish population density controls, regulate land use, and subject the alienation of real estate to special conditions for the purpose of protecting the cultural identity of native communities and preserving the environment and natural resources of the archipelago. And this is the part that we are concentrating a little more this last week. Through the creation of the necessary municipalities, the departmental assembly shall guarantee the institutional expression of the Raizal communities of San Andres. And so that it can be that many people can quote Article 310, but I think far fewer understand the deeper concerns that inspired it. As we saw, the language of the article addressed immigration, population density, land use, cultural protection, environmental preservation, and local governance. Like if you take all these together, these provisions suggest that the Constitution was attempting to protect something very specific and very important. And that is what we want to explore in this segment. So you have the word.
Pastor and audience and Iro, hold on Convention 169, which is our law 21 of 1991. And the sole establishment of our civil code here in which properties is being alienated and sell and whatever, that shouldn't be in our Raizal territory. We should have a preservation of rights, Raizal rights over the entire territory. And I would go further than that. If we go deep into this, the state should be a guarantee in a negotiation in which how the spaces and activities could return to the benefit of the preservation of the culture of Raizal people and the balance of the environment, the healthiness of the environment. These are things that should be in discussion and in negotiation. It should return because under the principles that rule on these ethnical ancestral territories is something that cannot be sold. It cannot be in a current sale to any buyer. It got to be in accordance to the interests of the preservation of the culture of the people, their elements, and the balanced environmental health that we must live into. I think it's the pressure that we are seeing and the consequence of the overpopulation, the high density, and all the damages that are here as evidence must teach us that if we don't take on the responsibility to negotiate, discuss these matters, then what will happen soon is that the damage will be totally taking over our future, and the disappearance will be for all, and the territory will be unseen to live into. And I think our responsibility with everybody that are here, Raizal and non-Raizal, is to see into this, that we need to preserve, number one, a healthy environmental territory for all, and within a rational amount of people to be here, because we pass the line in the presence of people, and the damage is present wherever you look on. And as I repeat again, we are submitted by neo-colonialism, in which they are making a lot of profit, and the profit, they are not for us, the profit is for a few, but the damage will be under the responsibility of all of us.
Very good. Dr. Kent, we notice you emphasize also on the existence of the International Convention 169 of the International Labour Organization from the United Nations. That Convention 169 is toward precisely the protection of indigenous and tribal people. And it's a convention issued in the year 1989. I'm mentioning the year because it's important, because when you all approach the Constitution have to be working for the get us in the Constitution of 1991. This international convention had just 2 years, 2 years, and it wasn't well known, you know, even worldwide. I know it had a long process of decades being in construction. No? It wasn't well known. Well, that same year, 1991, Colombia integrated through the law 21 of 1991. The same year they was building the Constitution. So if we understand clearly, you are making us understand that this issue that stay in the Constitution of 1991 for the rights of people at the Article 310 is precisely around recognizing the rights of people existing in Colombia as we could say a tribal people. No, at that time we was more toward like a tribal people, right? For the Convention 169 is for tribal and indigenous people. Afterward, we assume the double role as tribal as well as indigenous people. I just add this comment here to complement, you know, and explain a little more further on around that Convention 169.
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah,
And our country institutionally had recognized that situation for us as a fact. The discussion within the International Court of Justice, our country had admit that in our favor. So these are things that are there, like to be enforced, but more than to be enforced, it's like to establish a process of negotiation and consciousness that people understand that a small land territory, we have a big sea territory, but a small land territory, the amount of people that enforcing themselves upon this territory is not reasonable for them to be here. And we have a national big space in the state of Colombia in which solution can be offered in order to preserve the territory and the environmental health of this territory, sea territory mostly, but land territory, and ethnical and indigenous and tribal and ancestral rights to be enforced and respected. I think we have to go back to the point that it cannot continue to be a dispute in taking us and taking this place to just make some money, make some sense, and life is something put away, put one side, nothing to the view of all. I think life comes first, then culture is there, the environment is who guarantee everything for us. And these are things that a country should understand. 55 million people cannot permit that a couple thousand people, like 80,000 people, come here and destroy us. That is not fair. We must find a way that the country give solution, give opportunity for all who are here that could be reestablished and elsewhere, and at the same time enforce the legal organization that is necessary to preserve the spirit of the what in the Article 310 of the Constitution that was read to all of us, and we go for it because we 35 years with something that haven't been enforced, and we must get this enforced.
And Brother Hiram, Dr. Kent, something that the people need to know is that the Convention 169 or Law 121 forms part of what they call bloque de constitucionalidad, you know, in Colombia. So this means that international human rights treaties that are integrated by law, as this Law 21, share a constitutional level status when protecting rights like ethnic diversity and autonomy of the Raizal people. It's like a constitution. It's part of the constitution. You have constitutional level then, and in fact, it was even before. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Law 21 is before the constitution itself. I think, if I'm not mistaken, but yes, I think that's important. I have another question, Brother Jairo, if you allow me, please.
Sure.
Just to be a little more specific, as the assembly that can, I think right now they are discussing the creation of a municipalities, or I don't know exactly. I don't know the proposal, but I have heard some of the comments and criticism and discussions around it, and many focus on administrative structures and maybe boundaries, and they are talking about economical concerns, and it's more just to create more jobs and all of these things. But if we read Article 310 closely, it specifically links the creation of municipalities to guaranteeing the institutional expression of the Raizal communities. Like they go together. The creation of the municipalities is to guarantee the institutional expression of the Raizal communities. In your view, what should that guarantee look like in practice? And how can today's leaders or assembly members ensure they remain faithful to the original constitutional intent or spirit that you have mentioned a little about? I think several of these assembly members are listening to you right now. So in your view, what should that guarantee look like in practice?
We will have some difficulties, and we've been having difficulties since the new Constitution of 1991 with Article 310 and other consideration of our protection. But yes, as you said, to go down to what we should be concerned with the preservation of Raizal people, before the local assembly, it would always be a discussion of everybody have the same rights, put it that way. But everybody, we have been here losing rights over the years, and not more than that, losing spaces, losing stability, losing a healthy environment. And those are the things, and when we have to be very, very workful to find relevant legal way to preserve what the Constitution is saying. And it must go not to repeat a bureaucracy establishment following the examples that already in place in laws of municipality. We have to create it under the condition that was established in the spirit of the Article 310, and go for it and prove that to us that this kind of authority should exercise some duties that go for the goal of preserving our identity and the Raizal preservation on their territories, and to develop the territory in their favor, and for us to remain here and survive within it.
Fine. What I noticed, Dr. Kent, around this topic that we are on, the purpose behind, the spirit behind the Article 310, the vocabulary might change, no? But I believe we are in accordance, and as you mentioned over and over, this process of neocolonialism. We concede in that today, that what we are suffering on the archipelago as a people, the Raizal people, is nothing else but a modern, you call new type, a modern type of colonization, where the rights of our people, like the Raizal people, the rights to self-determination and self-government, etc., is under threat. And is under threat because purposefully the state had implemented certain policies that carry us to this situation. One of those policies precisely is that typical tactic or method that some colonizers have, is to promote what they call internationally as a transplant population to outnumber the local population, the native population. So in that way, they neutralize and take it over because they start to sing, bring a song, and talking about a game, democracy, and in that game, have democracy on that territory. After they don't, they already transplant population, promote it at least, and they want to talk about democracy. Then the local people don't have nothing to do in that game of democracy because as a numerical minority, they will never guarantee their representation and their right to self-determination. That's what happened to Raizal people precisely, that today we are around 20% of the population. So in a game of democracy, and putting aside self-determination and those simply talking about democracy and think all of us are the same rights, then we have nothing to win there. And the tendency and the projection of the population will timely carry us to be less than 20%, in a very near future, we can around the 5% of the population. So in that game of democracy, taking the whole population, or the whole everybody, we don't have nothing to win here. So I think we are in accordance. We use some terms where we know diplomatically sometimes are not the best because they have some rejection from the Colombian authorities. Then, but it's a colonization, and we need to guarantee that right of self-determination. And what you all did here in the Article 310 in the Constitution of 1991, we consider is precisely that: seek to have a special treatment for the rights of people. Because again, the article, and I will share it again, it mentioned explicitly the Article 310 of the Constitution about municipality and talking about to guarantee this institutional expression of the rights of people. So I think in that we concede in the spirit behind that is to decolonize, and that's what we come in talking about in this program. Before you talk about democracy in a territory, if that territory is colonized, first prerequisite is to decolonize that territory. Decolonize that territory are what you all, I believe, speculate that what you all try there with Article 310. But then, if you agree, Pastor, we can touch this next this third part
Yeah.
of chat there, precisely today, actually, how we see that accomplishment in the Constitution through the Article 310, how we see today feasible and relevant to the moment after 35 years. Um, that's
Yeah.
the point here we want to analyze.
Yeah, because Article 310, as you all were mentioning, and you all use that term of decolonization. But following on that, Article 310 does not say that the departmental assembly should create municipalities for administrative convenience. It says they should be created to guarantee the institutional expression, and that is a big thing, of the Raizal communities. 35 years after the Constitution was adopted, that kind of municipality, I mean, like 35 years, what kind of municipality, or perhaps what kind of special territorial institution would best fulfill that constitutional mandate today? Is the answer a conventional municipality, an ethnic municipality, or an entirely different model designed specifically for the realities of the archipelago and the Raizal people today, to the day. What are we talking about?
Yes. You can go ahead, Dr. Ken.
Yes, that's the point. The underline, the spirit is the Constitution of 1991 recognized that we are threat, we are under danger, we are being displaced, and it's not a matter of equal rights in as though they would say in a democratic number. No, this is a protective. This is what we call acción positiva, positive action to defend what is in danger. And I think historically, we established ourselves here more than 300 years ago, and we shouldn't be wiped out within the laws. The laws should provide, and we should get the manner to preserve ourselves as a people here in this territory. And this is what we have to be very smart on, because a few cents that circulate and give opportunity to home and to abroad, the results that we are seeing is that you put that first, then we are finishing with all the future of our people to come. And we need to preserve ourselves. We need to preserve the healthy environment of the territory. And it's, as our Pastor Edgardo had said again, we got to think on something out of the regular legislation and the regular so-called democracy's decision, because this is something very specific, very punctual, very positive action to preserve our rights.
Fine. I have a question here that when the assembly, you all are liars, I'm not. When the Constitution added to this Article 310 to create these special municipality for the Raizal people. That's my interpretation. If I'm making mistake, you all please correct me. But it's an order to create first special municipalities. Second, specifically for the Raizal people. Because talking about, as you said, for the protection. So you said to guarantee the institutional expression. There is any else where in Colombia we have a municipality, a municipio that break that general setup with those for everybody, the whole population. In Colombia, they have over, I think is, if I'm not mistaken, I don't want to feel but they have a huge amount of municipios in Colombia, municipalities. All of them share that common setup, they are created for the full population of that place. Is there any, there is no other one, I guess, in the country that break that standard and that is made special for our ethnic people on the territory, something like that. How is, if that is so, how the departmental assembly, they will be equipped with the power, I guess, to create in this, following the order of the Article 310, to create a special municipality that is, it will be the first created in Colombia. Is that so? Is this departmental assembly of the Archipelago of San Andres will be facultated the power to create that special municipality?
I think 35 years ago, those people that was in the Constituyente was legitimately thinking that they would find an assembly with members that would go for Raizal rights, and that have changed. That have been changed because population, the reality of the population is um, sometimes is against Raizal rights. So many times. So this is something that we got to work sharply on, because you will find sometimes even with we who call ourselves Raizal, the mentality is not a Raizal one, and sometimes we're not smart enough to see what is in our best convenience, and we have to mentally shape up ourselves to look ahead and see what can give us the most efficient results in the spirit of the 310 of the Constitution, to preserve the culture and the environment in our favor.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. I agree completely. Because the reality is, when Article 310 was adopted in 1991, it was intended, as you have mentioned, to respond to a people facing unique challenges. And I don't know if you all agree with me, but today I think those challenges have intensified, because across our islands, our Raizal people are witnessing aren't we losing our land every day, more and more on the hill, San Luis, Narten, practically done gone, and I don't know what's the percentage. Our traditional communities are weaker. Our language, our culture is eroding. The growing demographic pressures that threaten our ability to remain a decisive voice in our own homeland. We soon get to a place, even on the hill. Like I was telling Harry the other day, Kenny, if we have a municipality on the hill to elect a mayor for this whatever ethnic municipality, we don't know if we can elect him, if we would like be able to elect a Raizal, because I don't know what's the balance of the population right now on the hill and San Luis. In 1991, we had a majority, almost 90%, I would say, Raizal on the hill and San Luis. I'm not sure if that's the case today. So given this reality, should the municipalities contemplated by Article 310 be understood as ordinary municipalities, or a special institution specifically designed to guarantee the constitutional survival and institutional expression of the Raizal people? What should the assembly members be considering today, in your view? Like, what are some specifics, if they truly want to fulfill the original vision and spirit of Article 310?
Yeah, he's attending a call here right now. Till he finished here, bring him back into the studio. While being make a local announcement here, Edgardo and our audience out there, after a long time working on the Inter-American Commission of Human Rights, we finally get accepted as a news we get this week.
Oh, great.
Finally get accepted to have them to receive us in a thematic hearing. We have many years insisting with this. It's not easy to get it, because I met so many people over the whole America seeking for this. And that will be in October, the month of October. And precisely this topic that we're talking about would be amongst the things that will be carried to that hearing. Bringing back Dr. Kent. And I will share, I was telling sharing with the audience that after many years trying with the Inter-American Commission of Human Rights, we finally get acceptance by them to hear us in a thematic hearing that will be in the month of October this year. We have many years trying, applying with them and dealing with them, lobbying with them. The Inter-American Commission is fundamental. Inter-American Commission of Human Rights. So we will be there, with the help of God, as we start to get organized to refine our documents. And this precise topic that we're talking about that have to do with the hindrance of the exercise of many rights for the rights of people, like the political rights, environmental, and the threat that we are underneath will surely be part of that issues that we will hear to the Inter-American Commission of Human Rights. Because the time is going and we are under a process of an ethnocide or genocide, we would like to call it, less that will to be extended. So we have to go further internationally to get help to make a political pressure and legal action upon Colombia to straighten and do what they need to do to make justice to the rights of people. Thank you. So I'll get back to the topic. Pastor Ricardo, they place a question there to you. I don't know if Pastor, you like to do something.
Oh, yeah. What I was saying, Dr. Ken, is that when Article 310 was adopted in 1991, it was intended to respond to our people. You know, we were facing unique challenges. And I'm sure you agree with me that today those challenges have intensified. You know, because across our islands, we continue to witness the loss of land, the weakening of our traditional communities, our language, our culture, the growing demographic. Last week in our program, we were mentioning that in 1991, I think on the Hill and San Luis, at least 90% of the population was still Raizal people. Today, I don't know what's the balance. Like if we should have a election of mayor on the Hill, I'm not sure what the situation would be. But anyway, given this reality, Dr. Ken, this is a reality. Should the municipalities contemplated by Article 310 be understood as ordinary municipalities or as special institutions specifically designed to guarantee the constitutional survival and institutional expression of the Raizal people? And my specific question, what should assembly members today be considering if they truly want to fulfill the original vision of Article 310? What?
This is totally away from ordinary municipalities. Nothing to do with that. And what I think that we must do is to have it very clear what been happened until 1991 that took us before the Constituyente to get this article in force and established. And in these last 35 years, as you said, how things have get worse. So what we need to show is all the damages that's going on. It's not a matter of I got better rights than you. I would say our rights must prevail, must be put up front. But I think the best front line for the presentation is to show all the wrong that is happening, all the displacement that is happening, all the ethnocide that is occurring. And it can be presented in a normal conversation. We don't have to hail, we don't have to make a big noise. We just have to make people begin to make analysis of what is our situation and what is happening with like the Palestine of the Caribbean. Here, that is what's happening. The only thing that we don't have physical bomb, but we are receiving bomb every day. And after 35 years, we must able to get these things in force. And if we cannot get it through our assembly, as how the Constitution say, somebody should pick it up in the Congress and get it be enforced, because the power of the reality is our way to be understand, to be listened to, because we are crying for life.
Fine. Excellent. Okay, I think we covered the goal of the program today. Went into these three moments, the memories around this issue of the Article treating of the Constitution, the purpose, and today feasibility of it. I can't we appreciate so much. We're honored to be have you here with us, and that our people can hear direct from you about this. Next, sorry we didn't get to solve the technical problem with Dr. Alberto Escobar Alcala. We will program for the next Friday to have him and others actors around this process. Want to give you a space to have a final message to our people before we sign off. The program go until 9:30. Still, we can take over some more time if you see necessary. Pastor Guard on that. Ken, okay? But yes, 3 minutes. Please, both of you, extend a final message to our people here listening and seeing you on this program. You are muted, Pastor.
Telling Dr. Ken to go ahead. You go ahead, Dr. Kenny.
Well, no, I thank the audience to listen to us, and I thank you all that host this program that we can talk about this. And I think our fight should be with reasons, with evidence, with the claim of opportunities that we deserve, that we must exercise under the 169 Convention, that we are a people, we are a nation within a state, and we must work hardly on that, because life and environment come first. And what is happening here is that we are under a neo-colonialism system that is damaging everything and leaving nothing for the future.
Yes. And following on that, I would hope that our assembly members, especially our Raizal assembly members, understand that the creation of municipalities, according to Article 310, is not about bureaucracy, is not about administrative issues necessarily. It's about preservation, is about survival, is about protecting our ancestral territory in Narten, San Luis, and on the Hill, and in preserving that we don't disappear as a people. That, I think, that is the spirit of Article 310, and they should take it very seriously, not something folkloric or to put aside based on economical or financial or maybe regulations that is in law 47 or other articles of about municipalities in the Constitution. This is something very unique, specific for the purpose of the survival of the Raizal people. I think that should stay clear for them, and that they should research the real spirit behind Article 310, the history that we talk about today, the spirit of it, and what kind of institutional governance we need to protect us as a people.
Excellent. Thank you all so much. So we wish you all out there a happy and safe weekend, and hope to see you back again on our next emission on next Friday, September 4th, around the same topic. God bless you. Be safe. Happy. Bye. Thank you, Doctor Ken. Thank you,
Goodbye. Never give up. Never give up.
Thank you, Kenny. God bless you.
Yeah.
Dr.
Greetings to your wife.
Thank you so much.
Raizal people, it's time for the uprising. Let us rise and shine.
When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when you feel like giving up, as you trod over the hill,
when you feel like smiling, but your heart feels so trill, yeah. Don't give up, rest if you will, but keep your unbroken will, yeah.
like the sun, the moon, and the stars in the sky. Again and again, lift your head high. So please, don't you cry. Tell Jah, He will satisfy.
Once again, me say rise, I shall rise. We don't have time to cry, everything will be fine. We have to stand strong, it's time to move on. We are going to reach to the stars, to the moon, to the sun.
This is something we want to know if we understand. Rise and people give thanks to the Almighty One. Cause all of the grown are singing song. Rise and shine, so shall sing in a this a song.
Rise and shall rise. Where there is light, there will be hope. Rise and shall rise. Hope no Jah, that is for sure. Rise and shall rise. Standing up strong, I reach for your goal. Rise and shall rise. Let us all unite with one heart and soul.
One day our hearts will no more be hurt. All the pain and suffering rise up, it will surely work.
The day we come together and stand up with determination, then Raizal nation will shout out for liberation. To take back the territory. Cause this land that we fight the free, our free the chains and bandage of colony. Far away from home, but still worry about their own. Never strangle and decolonize, therefore it had to run.
Waiting for its diaspora, through the island in the sun. Rise and shine out the rise and all ye daughters and sons, yeah.
And again it will be nice. Do not yourself minimize. Sense of belonging must be sky high. Stand up, sunrise, where the sun of the sky.
Leave the high nights of the royal fear. Just remember Jah come when the morning clear. Praise Jah and put your hand up in the air. In Jah hand everything gone clear.
Wake up and live, rise and we soon clear the hill. If we stick together still, no way